In this video, we're gonna be able to create our UI, our user interface, so we're gonna be able to see our examples in the front end. In the previous video, we were able to create examples from a specific user, but we were not able to see those examples. We were able to see it only in the MongoDB database. So right now, we're gonna create that for the front end. And this is a continuation of the API front-end project series, so you can check out this playlist if you are new to this playlist. And this is the front-end part. We also have the API backend project series, so you can check out that too. So right now I'm gonna go into my terminal, so we're gonna check out some information as the data prototype that to local string. We're gonna be using the conditional ternary operator. We're gonna have the array.prototype.map and day constructor. So we are gonna go into the terminal. I'm gonna type ls. I'm gonna go into cd. Let me see, express ls, and I'm gonna go cd and then API. And now I'm gonna type in code space that so I can open it in Visual Studio Code. So right now I'm gonna open two terminals. So okay, so we have two terminals, one for the backend that is gonna be npm run examples. So this is gonna open our backend, our server in localhost 8000, and our front end that is gonna be npm run front, like that. And this is gonna open it in localhost 3000. And again, if you are new to the series, you can check out the API front end project series, the front end or the back end, so you can follow along. Let me see, we're gonna, okay, this is localhost 3000. We're gonna Control Shift I so we can use the, let me see, let's just grab this one. Let's go here and let's just log out. Okay, let me see, let me go here and just press Ctrl Shift I so we can open the Redux Dev tool. So let's go, okay, let's try it. So we're gonna go with user 3 and then the password 1 2 3 4. So let's send it. And okay, that's fine. So we have the user, we have two global states, the users and examples. So this is user 3, you have the token, that's fine. And in examples global state, if you see in examples, we can see that we have five items from 0 to 4, and these are the text here, first example up to the last one that will be fifth example. So we have that. But we are able to see those examples in the database, in the MongoDB database, but we are not able to see it here in the UI. So this is what we are gonna be working on it. So we're gonna go into the home page, and let's close this one. We're gonna go into the home page. Let's close that one too. And let me see. So we have our global state and our examples. We're gonna be putting it here in examples, and what we are gonna do is we're gonna go in the return. So here we have example form, and this example form, if we go into components, it comes from here, the example form that JSX. So we're gonna go below the example form, examples form, and here we're gonna have a div. So we're gonna have a div here, and inside of this div we're gonna have this element, and we're gonna have the examples that length. So we're gonna have examples that, let me see, length. Okay, so if examples that length is greater than 0, then we're gonna be doing something like that. Okay, oh, 0, then we're gonna be doing something else. We are gonna be doing something else. So this is the ternary operator, and if we go here into the conditional ternary operator, the conditional ternary operator is the only JavaScript operator that takes 3 operands. a condition followed by a question mark, so this one, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy, followed by a colon, and finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. This operator is frequently used as an alternative to an if-else statement, so we're gonna use that. And here they give us some basic examples. So we have this function get fee, and let me see, get fee, cancel get fee, and okay, in the return, as you can see, is member, then the ternary. If it's member, then we're gonna charge $2. If it is not member, we're gonna be charging $10. So that's pretty much how it works. If it's member, we just charge it $2. If it's not members, we're gonna charge it $10. So with the same logic, we have examples that length, if it's greater than 0, we're gonna be doing something. If not, we're gonna doing something else. So here in this something else, let's have an h1 like this, and then h1, and here we're gonna have no examples, so we're gonna have no examples like that. So the user has not created any example. Okay, if the examples that length is greater than 0, then we're gonna be having something, and that something is gonna be, and again, we are using the rules for the JSX, since this is the extension that we are using. So it has to be, as you can see, we have one div here, and then we have a second div, and these two divs are inside of this angle brackets or empty fragments. So inside of this parentheses, the first parenthesis, what we are gonna have is we're gonna have a new set of divs. Okay, so the error went away, and what we are gonna have inside of this div is gonna be let me see, we are gonna have an element. So we're gonna have examples, that map like that. We're gonna have examples that map, and what we are gonna do is, let me see, we're gonna have a parenthesis, we're gonna have examples like that, examples, and we're gonna map it. So this one is gonna be, let me see, so we have examples, and this is not gonna be curly braces, it has to be parentheses, and inside of this new parentheses we're gonna have, let me see, we're gonna have angle brackets like that, and we're gonna close it here, and let me see, okay, and here we are gonna have a new component. So right now we have only two components, examples form and navigation form. So we could create it, but let's just have it here and then create it. So it's gonna be examples item like that, and this examples item is gonna have a key, okay, and this key is gonna be, okay, so we're gonna have curly braces, and it's gonna be examples that, and it's gonna be underscore ID. So that is gonna be that, and then we are gonna have the key, and also we are gonna have, let me see, let's move here, we're gonna have examples like that, and this one is gonna be set to just, no, it's not gonna be quotes, it's gonna be curly braces, is gonna be set to examples like that, examples. Okay, so we don't have any errors. Let me see. Okay, so we have, if examples that length is greater than 0, then inside of this empty fragments we're gonna have examples that map, and we're gonna map each examples, and then what we are gonna do is we're gonna have this new component named examples item, and it's gonna have a key, and the key is gonna be examples that underscore ID, and also we're gonna have examples that is gonna be set to examples. So that is that, and let me see, then we close here the empty fragments, and let me see examples item, and there's gonna give us an error because we haven't created it yet. So examples examples item. And while we are here in the home page, let's just bring it. So we haven't created, but let's just import it. So it's gonna be examples item, like a camel notation, and it's gonna be from, let me see, it's gonna come from components, and it's gonna come from examples item, like that. And again, we are still gonna have this error because we don't have it, but let's go into components and let's just create it. So it's gonna be examples item.jsx, like that. And from here it's gonna be RFCE. Okay, so we're gonna have that. We can save it for now. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, we don't have any errors, and we have example item, so we have 5 example items. Okay, so we have that up to this point. And let me see, what else do we need? Let's close this one. Okay, so we have created that. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so what we are gonna do now is we are gonna go into this examples item, and here let's just save it like that, and let's see. Okay, so we have nothing yet. So what we are gonna do here is, okay, first of all, we need to have this one inside of just an empty fragment like this. So I'm just gonna have this div inside of empty fragments, and inside of the div we're gonna have an element. So let's move it like that. Here we're gonna have an element, and let me see, let's save it for now first of all. Prototype. Okay, so in home page we were using the map, the examples.map. So the array.prototype.map, the map method creates a new array populated with the results of calling a provided function on every element in the calling array. So that is the reason that we saw 5 examples or 5 items. So for example, if I go into the example item, and let's just I don't know, let's just put example like that, and let's just save it. So if we go here, we can see 5 examples because we are mapping it. So that is the reason we are doing that, but we're not gonna use that. We're gonna have an element, so we're gonna leave it empty for now. And what else do we need? So this is an example. So we have this variable named array1, and we are setting it to this array. We have these numbers here, so we have this variable map1, and then we are setting it to array1.map. So each element x is going to be multiplied by 2, so we're going to have 1 multiplied by 2 is going to be 2, 4 multiplied by 2 is going to be 4, 9 multiplied by 2 is going to be 18, and 16 multiplied by 2 is going to be 32. So we saw the array.prototype.map, we saw the conditional ternary operator, and now we are going to see let me see, we're going to see this date constructor. The date constructor creates date objects when called as a function and returns a string representing the current time. So here we have this variable named day1, and we are setting it to new date, and inside of the parentheses we're passing a string. And this is the syntax. You have new day, inside of the parentheses you can put the value, the date string, date object, you can put the parameters, year, month, index, all the way day, hours, minutes, and seconds. So we are moving fast, but this is just a little theory about the date constructor. So what we are gonna do here in this example, in this element, we're gonna have new date. So it's gonna have here like that, new date. Okay, so I have it here. It's gonna have new date, and inside of the parentheses we're gonna pass in the examples. So it's gonna be examples that, and it's gonna be create at. So it's gonna be create at. So we are able to see when we created these examples, and outside of the parentheses we are gonna chain it to, and it's gonna be to local string, like that. And inside of the parentheses we're just gonna pass this string that is gonna be n, and it's gonna be US, like that, and we can save it. And if we go into the prototype, prototype that to local string, the to local string method returns a string with a language sensitive representation of this date, and implementations with Intel data format API support. This method simply calls Intel that data format. So this is the example. So here we have this variable name event, and we're setting it to new date, and we're passing the date at UTC. We have all the stuff, and here in the console.log we are using this variable inside of the parentheses event that to local stream and GB. So I'm not really sure what it stands for GB, but pretty much US stands for United States, so these can be the countries. So we have that up to this point. And if we go back into our what happened here? Examples is not defined. Examples is not defined. So examples item. Okay, so that's fine. Examples is not defined. Okay, new date. Examples create add, and then we have local stream. Okay, so below here we are gonna have an h1 like this, and we're gonna have samples, and it's gonna be examples that text like that. And let me see, examples is not defined. Here we need to pass in examples. So what we are gonna do is inside of this curly braces we're gonna have examples like that, and we're gonna save it. And now as you can see, Control Shift I, and if we go into the Redux, let me see, so now we can see, okay, so we are in invalidate. So let me see, let's just log out. Let me see. Okay, so let's log out with user 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 like that. And let me see, what do we have here? Redux. And okay, we have first example invalidate. So why is invalidate? Created, it should be created at. So it should be created at, and we can save it. And yeah, so as you can see, okay, let's make it a little smaller one. Instead of h1 we're gonna have an h3 like this. And now as you can see, what happens? So let me see, let's make it a little smaller. So you can see the first example has been in June 18. The second example has been in the 23rd, and you can see the time. So right now this is our UI, so we can see the examples for the user 3. So let me see, so we have user 3, so let's log out. And okay, so let's log out, and now we're gonna see if the same user, let's gonna go for user 2. So let me see, user 2, and we 1 2 3 4. So this is the password, and let's go into Redux Dev Tools, and let's send it not examples. And why? Because if we go into the database, all the examples, these 5 examples that we see here, is from user 3. So but now since we are in since we are in user 2, let's add some example. User 2 example like that, and let's just add it. And as you can see, we can see in the front end and the UI. And if we go into the global state, we have users, so user 2, and we're gonna have examples. So we're gonna have we're gonna have just one example that is gonna be user2 example, and we have the ID, we have the created ad, updated ad, all that.